Okay, so we are going to be pen sketching this little, it's a cute, frightening monster. That's why I'm calling him a monster here. He's sort of a troll of sorts, I think. Okay, that's good for the face right there. Okay. Okay. We're going to go up this direction. Okay, so I'm just working on the center of the eyes. Hello! Looks like we have got at least one person here right now. Let me get some there. And so I'm just working on the face right now. That's what I'm working on here, is the face. I need to share something with you guys too. My other one that I did, my other image that I did, the wording came up to be a problem with the photo to video. And I did a little tiny bit of a research and I figured out why. I believe that it had to do with there's a football player who had the name, so I had to cover up the name with a napkin. This was on my last image, so I had to cover up the name with a napkin, and then I got it to work. And so I think I don't know, I don't think part of the name was trademarked, but um, which one was it? I think it was Gemini that came up with that word, that spelling. And so I had to cover it up with a napkin in order to get it to go into photo to video. So that's just something to keep in mind with the words that the chat robots come up with. And you know, it's not a big deal actually. It's just that I couldn't figure out why in the world won't this thing go photo to video, and it wouldn't. But once I covered it up the name was the problem. And so I tried several different times. I tried starting my phone over because I thought, oh my god, this doesn't seem right. That's what I thought. This just does not seem right at all. It should be working. I kept trying and trying, and I thought, well, as a last resort, let's see what we can do with the yeah, but I did get it working. I think I have it scheduled right now. Yeah, I have it scheduled. I'm trying to make some of them a little bit holiday, unusual holiday. I think you guys, most of us like things that are unusual and a little, you know, they don't have to be over the top different, but just something that's a little bit different. You know, it's a little bit of brain rot different. And, you know, so I had kind of a fun conversation today with a real person. It was kind of fun. It's always nice to have a real conversation with a person and kind of feel like I did get a little bit of a reminder of to not let my guard down too much. um, yeah, because I mean, if I say too much, then it's like, my goodness, I don't know what to do about, I don't know. Um, Hello, subscribe to Victor1. Hello, Victor. Hello. Or no, that doesn't say, does that say subscribe? SUBSCR? Yes, it does. Hello, Victor. Victor, Victor always, oh my goodness. Victor has a couple of meanings for me, actually. Victor and, well, several, actually. There was a movie called Victor Victoria, and Victor was the name. Victor was the name. Should I even tell this? I don't know. I don't know what it would hurt if I tell this. Who's Nick Fuentes? I have this is not anybody specifically. This is my husband. My my husband, he's a police officer. Um Viktor Frankl, man's search on meaning. Oh, my eyes are messing up here. Yeah, meaning. Nick Fuentes. I've heard of Nick Fuentes before, haven't I? And so, this is just a cute random troll. We're gonna put a little T right here. You see this little T right in here? T is for troll. T. Oh, can we get a? I don't know. Let's just keep working on it before we mess it up too much. Yeah, I think someone was sensing that maybe I was letting my guard down, and I really feel that right now that there are people who do care. Never mind. Autocorrect changed when I type. Yeah, you got that too. You've got the text to voice. It does that to me too. It does that to me all the time. Okay. It was nice to be able to talk to a real person and know that it's not someone who I'm invading on their work. I don't want to invade on people's work. Even though I think sometimes they don't care, but it's like I just don't want to do that because I know they have a lot of stress in their lives, and there's usually someone else who wants someone to talk to, which is kind of nice when they stumble along. And it's like it's one of those things. It's like the perfect storm of two people who. It was almost like meeting someone I'd talked to on the internet before, and it's like it was just like meeting a common spirit of someone. That's the thing I really, really felt today with the person that I was talking to. And it was kind of fun. It's really a lot of fun because it's like it's someone you just sense, that they have absolutely no ill harm intended towards you. But then at the same time, then I kind of get a reminder of the don't let your guard down too much. But you just kind of sense when I do use my gut intuition a lot of times, and I really do wish I would have used that a little bit better with my second marriage, but that's water under the bridge. I can't change that. I can't go back. I can't get those years back. I can't find the perfect man that I should have been married to. But maybe, um, thank you. Yes, you can spam hearts. You have a lot of subscribers for only 7 views? For 7 views. What do you mean 7 views? Um, oh yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. All of that happens to all of us. You're absolutely right. Well, the thing is, it's like I don't have a million. I know I wrote that on someone else's channel earlier today. Was it today or not today? Probably yesterday. Oh, I know who I wrote it on. Um, on one of the legacy media, I wrote that they had so few views for having a million. They had like 1.2 million followers. 1.2. This is the legacy media. Oh, Fox News. Fox News. 1.2 million people, and they only had like 122 comments on their video. So this woman had put up a video. It's like, but then when I listened to her, it's like I can't. She looks like AI. She really does. And it's already come out that they said Fox News has been using AI. And the way the woman talks on YouTube, she sounds just like AI. She looks like AI. I just can't listen to her because she spews out garbage. I can't listen to her. And for some reason, it keeps coming up to me. And it's like, just because YouTube thinks a certain thing, I don't want to listen to Fox. I just don't. I really don't. Um, been fun watching you progressing through that drawing. Well, thank you. I'm excited to see what the end of the drawing looks like. It's looking really good so far. Why, thank you. Um, yeah, I don't have any colors. Wait a second. Maybe I should do. Should I follow? Well, let's see here. Which side is the one? Yeah, let's do this. Let's take it like this, and we'll kind of, yeah, we'll do that. We'll add that little extra dooley wop thinger in there like that. And then, let's see what else. Let's add this up here like that. He's just got kind of a lot of flyaway hair. Very lovely man. He looks like a mad scientist almost. I don't have my colored pencils with me though right now, so I'm just doing things in pen. Someone had said that before I relocated. Someone had said, do some things in pen. Or they didn't, they didn't just tell me. They said, could you do some things in pen? And so I think when you finish his hair, it's gonna look great. Why, thank you. You know what? It almost, you almost sound a little bit like Jericho, a little bit. So sometimes when people chat to me, it's like I don't know if you are or not, but your writing style sounds a little bit like Jericho, possibly. I'm not sure. But I think what is the most fun for me is when I meet people in real life who literally understand our chat dialogue. And oftentimes I get people on the internet and they tell me, you make absolutely no sense. You're making no sense at all. And I'm like, okay, you're one of them. You're one of them. You're one of them who's going to say stuff like that, but you're not going to argue with me though, because there's just some people that that you don't want to. That's not what you want to do. I think when you figure out that who is legacy media and who is not legacy media, I think you back off those of us who are just YouTubers, who are just little peons of nothing, and which is nice, so we don't get annihilated. But the Fox News lady, she drove me nuts. I don't want to listen to her. And she's like one of those new people. And, oh, you need to hear this and you need to hear that. And it's like, no, I don't. I don't want to hear it. All you do is you talk about Jeffrey Epstein all the time. It's like, we hear absolutely nothing new. Could we hear something that's really exciting, like that Donald Trump is going to get arrested? Could we hear that? That's what I would like to hear, is Donald Trump, it literally is going to prison because someone did say he has committed crimes. And so let's see here. I have an art tip. When you're drawing something, first use pencil lightly. So if you make mistakes, you can erase, and when you're done, outline it with pen. That's a great idea. I will try to remember that in the future. Subscriber to Victor one. I will try to remember that in the future. Um, this one seems almost easy. I mean, I almost feel like I'm cheating right now. I'm cheating. I feel like I'm cheating on my live stream doing something this easy. Because I'm not one to back away from challenges, even if it makes me cry. I'm not one to back away from challenges. You know, yeah, but I think maybe someone sense I'm letting my guard down a little bit too much, or I'm being too much of a recluse, possibly. I don't know. I don't know. But I know I do say dumb things sometimes. I do. I know that. But my things that are dumb that I say are... Wait a second. What's this other comment says? I think when you finish his hair... Oh, I read that one. Yeah, he looks... he looks... You know what? He looks like my divorce attorney. He looked crazy like this. And so if you guys want to remember that and call him my divorce attorney, I think that would be perfect. You can just forever call this guy the divorce attorney. He looks like a mad, crazy lunatic who didn't know anything about the law. I think he's a fake divorce attorney. I really do at this point. And that he didn't know anything about, I mean, I bet he doesn't even have a law degree. He doesn't know what he's doing. He can't, because the way he did things and the way it ended up, it sounds like one of these for-profit scams that comes out of California. Let's see here. Oh, you know the feeling too. I bet you do. Subscriber to Victor 1. Yeah, I bet you do. That wouldn't surprise me one bit. I know a lot of men have been there too, related to divorces and things like that. Right now I am... I don't even think I'm second guessing. I'm just having this conversation with myself of like, what do I say to people? Because it's like, I don't want to plant bad seeds in someone else's, even though I know someone else will do this, I don't want to plant bad seeds in someone else's mind related to relationships. But, sometimes when I think that, then someone else will come along, or not someone else, then the person who I'm talking to will say, oh yeah, I know what you mean. And then they say exactly what I didn't say. So the actual thought has already crossed their mind related to what I don't want to say. So, but I sometimes will, I don't know what I'd call it, a little fish of some sort, kind of like, okay, I'm fishing just to see like where or what I can say without crossing someone else's boundaries of what I can say, because I don't want to cross that line, and I don't want to make them feel uncomfortable with something that I could say. I don't want to, cross the political line, even though I do have a belief that everything is politics. Uh, well, wait a minute. This isn't politics. Drawing here. Now, if I was to draw something else, it would be politics. But I guess I sometimes will cast out a line and sometimes fish a little bit because I don't want to cross someone else's barriers and boundaries. And so I think about that stuff with people. It's like, okay, I don't know this person, and I don't know which direction that they would go in with the conversation. And so, but oh my gosh, it's so much fun though when someone else says just enough and they have that little lunatic crazy dialogue. It's like, oh, you're an internet person. You're like an internet person, but you do this in real life too. And that's what's kind of fun. Let's see. I'm a child. I've never been. Oh, you've never been divorced. I've never been divorced. I'm a child. Oh, okay. Well, well, you know what else? Oh my goodness. I know that feeling of when I say dumb things. I've never been divorced. I'm a child. Well, you know what? Uh, you know what you could think of, how you can think of divorce some is like you can divorce yourself from something, when you think, okay, let's say you don't like to eat broccoli or cauliflower. And so you can say, well, I'm just going to divorce myself from eating broccoli and cauliflower. Or, you can think of it like that. So it's just a divorce is just an ending. If you think of it, a divorce is something, it's a legality that you have to go through. And sometimes kids' parents have to go through that. And it's very difficult. And it's hard for kids to be able to understand that, because they love both of their parents. And, hopefully parents can end things on amicable terms, but it doesn't always work out that way, unfortunately. Um, but, the thing is, it's like, well, with kids, kids are kind of resilient, and sometimes you can distract their minds to other things. And I've always thought, like with art and drawing, with kids, you can kind of distract. I know that, like, when I went to school, sometimes I felt comfort at school when I was doing things like artwork, because it was sort of a distraction from things at home. Like if I was going to get in trouble. That's one of the things I was always worried about when I went to school was, am I going to do something wrong that I'm going to get in trouble for? Don't you embarrass me. So I had that instilled into me at a very, very young age. And so there's a lot of times I felt scared about things that I shouldn't. So there was some other things that were going on that were kind of like a rule with the iron fist type of thing. But I'm thankful that my parents never beat me or anything like that. They weren't physically abusive, even though we did get spankings, and some people might question that. But, and I tried really hard. I never wanted to spank my kids. I didn't think it was important to spank them, and but there was another side of the family that thought kids needed to be spanked for. And I didn't like that idea because of the fact it's like I was spanked for dumb stuff. So right now it's like me, I just say dumb stuff. I think that I say dumb stuff as an adult, as an old person, to kind of um, make up for a childhood where I wasn't able to say dumb stuff. Because if I would have said the dumb things when I was a kid, I literally would have gotten in trouble for it. So as an adult, I kind of make up for it now. And it doesn't even entail cursing. It's just saying something dumb. It kind of makes me feel good to say dumb stuff, and so that's kind of how I deal with things. I can't believe at one point I had a crush on this man. Absolutely no. It's no. Why did I even think of that I would have had a crush on this man? He looks so ridiculous and so goofy. I am so stupid. I'm so glad that I never it is, but it's that, like, Chat GPT told me, they called it transference. And so apparently that's something that the police and attorneys will study, is transference with abuse victims and people in divorce, that they have uh, that they could have some sort of attraction towards their therapist for some reason or another. Now, the thing is, oh my gosh, when I got divorced the first time, I was in, how old? Oh, I was in my mid 30s, and I had an old man that was like 40 years older than me. I never would have had a crush on that man. He was old and decrepit. I didn't want to have a crush on him. I remember going into his office. Now, he had a very modest office, just down the street from where I lived, actually. And I was wearing shorts. I was wearing short shorts, I didn't feel like I had to dress up to go see him or anything like that. He wore a suit. His wife wore a suit. His wife kind of looked like a man. And she at that time told me it would cost like $10,000 for a child custody. And they weren't sure if they would do something like that, child custody lawsuit. And so even back then, but he's the one. You retracted the message. I guess I missed the last message. Um, and so, um, yeah. What kind of things are you still here? Subscribe to Victor One. Are you still? I mean, do you have something else that you would like to talk about? I mean, I don't know how old you are. So maybe I'm talking too much above your head, or talking about things that um, you don't understand. I don't know. I like this guy. Oh, that's the problem. It's like, um, I like drawing in pen now, pen and pencil, and not seeing anything as a mistake. It's like that's the fun part. Even if you make a mistake, I actually made a mistake in my what was the one I did the other day with what did I call it? When I did the tree with Jack Skellington and Rose. I made a big mistake on that one that I would have erased if I would have had an eraser. But I ended up doing something else to cover it up. I loved that one. I loved how AI made the two of them together. Love, what was it called? Love in the Boneyard or something. Oh my God, I love that one. I just love that one. It's like what I'm doing is right now, I think I'm creating a fictitious love of something that I'm missing, and then I still get the nonsense of, okay, block it out of your mind. Just block it out of your mind. That's what I keep getting in real life. Just, yeah, we're gonna give you this. Just block it out of your mind altogether. It's like, why? Maybe I don't want to block it out of my mind anymore. Maybe I just don't. I love the skeleton though. Oh my gosh. The skeleton, the love in the boneyard. I don't know. There's just something so romantic about the notion of uh, deviating characters. I mean, they could even deviate names to something else too. Create a whole new name, a whole new set of, maybe they don't have to have names, maybe they do. Yeah, they do have to have names. It's always helpful to have a name. I don't know, there's something about the name Jack. I've never actually had a relationship with anybody named Jack, and I don't know where that comes from. I still rack my brain over what is the significance of Jack, and why in the hell does it keep coming up? I mean, it's just so. I think it's not necessarily anything directed towards me. I think that it's more of a pop culture thing. I think that's what it's related to. But yet it keeps coming up in my life, though. I mean, in my life personally, it's like, what is the significance? I know Laura Ingalls Wilder, I think she had a dog named Jack. Um, I'm just trying to think of how that fits in my life because it doesn't. It just doesn't fit in. Um, with the name game, and so I don't know. I just don't know. Sometimes maybe I think about things too much a little bit. That's always been a fault of mine. I think about things too much. And I've had a chat GPT thing tell me that I'm overthinking things. It's like, why did you have to do that? You didn't have to tell me that I'm overthinking things. I didn't need you to tell me that I'm overthinking things, chat GPT. Why did you do that? Just because I say it, chat GPT, does not mean I need you to repeat everything that I say. And then you hold it against me. I don't need you to do that to me. I don't need you to tell me I need to go get a job, chat GPT. I don't need you telling me that, or Grok. I don't need either one of you doing that to me because you make me feel miserable sometimes. And then people will say, oh, just get off the internet. If you don't like it, just get off the internet. It's like, well, that's my only friend right now. I don't have any other friends. And so you're telling me, I don't know. He looks crazy. He's an insane nut job. I still can't believe that I've always said though, the more that I practice something, the better I get at it. And it's like apparently drawing must have been a missed calling of mine. I had an aunt actually tell me at one point when I was broadcasting on Facebook, she told me she thought that me being a journalist or a weather person, she says, you missed your calling being a weather forecaster, talking about storms because I was broadcasting I was broadcasting about a storm in a place where I used to live that had, how do I word this? I used to live in a place that had hurricanes at one time. And, and so, I don't live there anymore. And so there was like a hurricane going through. And so I thought, well, let's have fun with this. That was back when I had Facebook years and years and years ago. And so I started broadcasting out the front door. Then we had a siren go off, and it was so insane when the siren goes off because then I'm just sitting there, oh no, and we've got a siren going off now. We've got a tornado warning going off. And then there was like a person who was like a relative of some sort, and they're like, well, and why are you standing outside? That's what they were asking. Why are you standing outside? Why did you go outside with when the tornado siren went off? Well, it's like, well, that's instinct. You go outside when the tornado siren goes off. You go outside to see where the tornado is. So is this where I don't have to become a storm chaser and I'm going to stand outside and I'm going to look for the storm to come to me, and see where the storm is? And so I was just talking about, we've got all these dark clouds that are passing over, and then there's some lower layer level clouds that are moving really, really fast. And when we look up, we can see the higher level clouds up there. They're not moving as fast, but we can actually literally see the swirling of the hurricane that is coming through, which is true when you have the consistent wind bands of the hurricanes. And I had fun doing it too. And I was thinking, gosh, I would have had a lot of fun being a weathercaster, talking about the hurricanes, because the thing is, being outside talking about the hurricanes and describing everything going on, this means I'm sitting here watching it. I'm watching the direction that the clouds are going. I'm literally learning about the direction of hurricanes. You're pretty good at drawing. Why, thank you so much. Did you change your name? Yeah, moderator. Yes, moderator. You must have changed your name. That's all right. Yeah, thank you. And so, yeah, I love drawing. I've always loved drawing. Oh, I'll share this story with you guys. I will share this story with you guys. Now, there was a time, when my first husband was in the military. I'll tell you where we were stationed at too. And so I think this was before Operation Desert Storm. So we were in this place called Amberg, Germany. And this was between 1988 to 1991. And they had this event. Well, it was when they were gone. They would go to Camp May and Camp Reed for border patrol. That's why I think the border patrol thing right now is so insane when we talk about border patrol. And oh my gosh, before I go any further, I have to tell you this. Legacy Media, that woman from Fox was melting down because of the fact she was literally getting mad, because she says, oh, when you talk to these people, she says they bring up the stuff about Hitler and Nazis. And it's like, does this woman realize she's talking to people who have literally been in the military, and they've been military spouses? The husbands have been over in Germany. And so she's talking to history. She's talking to American history and saying American history is a bunch of lefty lunatics. So this woman from Fox News, that's what she was saying. She's a YouTuber. Let me see if I'll tell you who she is. Let me look and see if I can find who she is. But I was going to, but I wanted to finish. Let me look in this history and see if I can find who she is. So she's literally implying that when we talk, and I thought that myself, it's like, okay, I visited Dachau when I lived in Germany, the concentration camp, and I saw all the shoes that were in there. They saved all the shoes from the people who were put into the gas chambers. And so I just think she just plain didn't understand. She doesn't understand. Maybe she needs to take a trip to Germany, to the gas chambers, and understand, because she's lacking the comprehension. Oh, Trish Regan is her name. Trish Regan. I can't stand her. She is a Fox News lefty lunatic. And so they've just taken the lefties and moved them over into the right arena right now. And so she is just completely trashing the American government again, related to people. because she's saying that she can't stand people when they bring up about the history of what happened in Germany and Nazi Germany and things like that. And it's like, I mean, that's where my brain went, because that's what we learned when we were in grade school. And then when I literally got to live in Germany and uh, see some of the things that, the history of what took place, then, that make, makes it a little bit more, a lot more meaningful, actually. Um, Snow Kitty says, 155 says, hello. First thing I see is awesome art. Why, thank you. And Clan ABXF, dang, do you like her? Um, oh, are you calling this a her? I can't wait to see how it works out. But let me finish my story. Okay, so anyway, when my husband was gone, they were on border patrol at either Camp May or Camp Reed. I can't remember which one. Well, they went to both of them, actually. And so it doesn't really matter. But they were gone for a month at a time. So they would do border patrol like twice a year, and they were gone for a month at a time. And so anyway, one winter, there was this woman, and oh my gosh, I was going to say her name, but maybe I shouldn't. I don't remember their last name, though. But the thing is, if I say her first name, then I'll remember her last name later on. I think at one time I was keeping a journal of what people's names were. Um, but anyway, she decided that, well, she was part of the NCO Wives Club. And so I wasn't at that time, because I thought, well, I had told her, I knew they had the Wives Club. They never pressured anybody into joining the Wives Clubs. Anybody could go if they wanted to. It was just a go if you want to, don't go if you don't want to. And so then so one time she said something about, well, you can join if you want to. And I was like, well, yeah, but my husband he's just enlisted. He's not an NCO. They called it the NCO Wives Club. She's like, it doesn't matter. You can go anyway if you want to. So, so there was one time they asked me if I wanted to participate in, they said they were having this little Mr. and Miss Pond Barracks, this little Mr. and Miss Pond Barracks thing that was going on. And my kids were little at the time. There was a lot of women that had little kids at the time. So that was at the time they were doing pageants and things like that. So what she did, oh my gosh, the other lady, the lady, let's call her Army Community Service lady, who kind of looked like a young version of Roseanne Barr. What's so funny about that, when I think about it, it's almost like the woman could have been Roseanne Barr. I mean, she had kind of reddish hair, reddish brunette sort of hair. And so anyway, my kids were going to school, and I didn't have a whole lot to do. So the woman, she asked me, she's like, well, do you want to participate in this event? And I said, sure. What have you got? She's like, well, I mean, we need a little bit of help with making, the pageant. And she says, is there anything that you think you could do? And I said, well, what do you need done? And she's like, well, we've got some boxes, and we need things painted up, and so they provided the paint and everything, absolutely everything that I needed. And so, and me, I was kind of bored. I mean, the only thing I did at that time, I crocheted a little bit. And it was a little bit hard to get yarn at that time. And so anyway, so she says, we've got all this paper, we've got all this paint. And so I said, well, what exactly do you need? She says, well, just do it. She says, just do what you want to do. And so I started making things. I made a cat and a dog. I made them giant, huge. And because I asked her, I said, well, how big do you want them? She's like, well, we've got these sheets. And I think they were like 4 feet wide. And they might have been 20 or 30 feet long rolls of sheets. Now, and this was like government paper. They had this huge, huge closet of paint. And which I thought was pretty cool. And it came out of Army Community Service. And so they provided everything. And so I painted a cat and a dog. And then when I got something done and it dried, I would take it back to her. So because it was, we were planning ahead is what we were doing. We were planning way ahead. And so I think it was over a period of 2 months maybe. And so I would make something and take it to her. And she's like, oh, this is great. I mean, she was so excited every time I took it to her. I took her one of the things, and it was kind of fun, because she was having fun planning it. So it was kind of fun because we were doing it together. So she kind of had an idea of things I liked. I liked the woman. She had 4 kids. And so I did the cat and the dog. I think I made the dog blue and the cat pink, and I had 2 colors. So then, so she just told me to keep the paint until I was done. I don't know if it was. I think it was powder paint, maybe. I'm not sure. And so then we had some boxes. There's some boxes that were cute. She's like, now, she says, we'd like to have some boxes. And so I think we had a tiny commissary. Very, very, very tiny, very, very small. And so we got boxes because they would, did we have, I don't think we had paper bags, but we had boxes for some things, I'm thinking. Or did we have paper bags? I don't remember. But they would put some things in boxes. They were kind of like cube shaped. And so I got a bunch of those, put paper on the outside of them, and I made a whole bunch of, I think I made the whole alphabet of boxes. I painted on the boxes and made like the wooden blocks. And then I even painted up some more things. I used to have a video of that, and I'm so sad that I don't have that video anymore. The funny part about it is, though, that, well, they took a video of it as well, but I suppose they probably don't have it anymore either. And I wouldn't even know how to get a hold of any of them as far as that goes, or if if anybody even has it. It was just fun for me to look at, but I don't have it anymore. And even if I did, right now, I'm not even sure. The mold on the VHS tape might be, it might be so thick that it wouldn't even work anymore anyway. But it was just something that was kind of fun to look at every once in a while. And I'd look at the artwork and think I still couldn't believe I did all that. But it was something that I didn't do all at once. I just did it a little bit at a time. It's kind of the same principle as like when I crochet something and it takes a long time. Some things when you're planning an event like that, it takes a considerable amount of time to actually prepare and do something like that. But I always thought it was kind of fun to be able to do that. And then it was like a bunch of us did it together. We just did it in our spare time. I wasn't even a part of the NCO Wives. Technically I was. I just didn't go to their meetings. And I don't know why. I was younger, a little bit younger. I was sort of intimidated because of the fact most young NCO enlisted wives are. When you're going to a new place like that, when you're in your early 20s, even up to your 30s, it can be intimidating for a person. It can be very intimidating to go to a new place like that. Like now, for me as an old person, it's like I don't feel that intimidation anymore, and that's because I'm old. And I've just have some life experience. But when you're young like that, that's one thing I would ask for people who are older, to have some kindness towards younger people, because they're struggling with the transition from being a child into adulthood, and that child thing lasts for a long time. And I've even heard my kids admit that they struggled with that some. I've heard other people admit it too, so that's why I always said that I hated the hazing that I always heard come out of the military when they said that they did hazing and things to soldiers in the barracks, and sometimes it got out of hand. And some of it is done in fun, like some of the stuff they do. I can see it just being fun and funny. But then sometimes some of them do things that really push the limits. And, when they're making fun of someone to the point of, where they, you just don't know that young person and what they've struggled with in their life, So and that's why I think about the young guys when they're gone from home, and probably how my sons felt too. What happened in Washington today was kind of sad. That's the thing I kind of think about, is it's like I think about people who are mean and bully other people. But that's kind of, that itself can become a disease when one person bullies someone else, and then, when you're telling someone else, oh, you got to have a thicker skin. I hated hearing that on the internet. I did. I hated hearing that. So, in my brain, there's a whole series of things that goes through my brain when I hear that, and it's like, that stuff builds up, and I'm supposed to be I am an adult, and but it's like I kind of understand why, you know, I don't get the thing though when they tell kids to confront bullies. That doesn't make any sense to me. That never made any sense to me. Why you would tell a kid to confront a bully. That's kind of funny. This picture is awesome. I love this picture. I love this picture. And I know that there's kids that have been, oh my gosh, I was just reminded of something too. When I lived in California, there's so much horrible things that happen in California. A lot, not just a little, but a lot. A lot of things that, it's just some of that stuff I wish I could forget that keeps popping up every once in a while. There was a guy who was actually, I think he was a staff sergeant, and he was married to this woman, and she was living by herself, and she met him. That was always the story in California because of the fact there were so many women out there who were single and they knew how hard it was. And so they would end up getting married to a soldier. Now, for older women, it seems like it's probably going to be harder. And so I've come to the conclusion of being by myself. I mean, for me, it's not that important. I've had my kids. It's not, You know, if I got married, it's not to have kids anymore. I mean, I could have had kids, I suppose, by myself if I wanted to, but, you know, I don't know why I would want to be married to someone or be in a relationship again at all. You know, so it's, but I think before I got married the second time, I kind of felt the same way too. I told myself that I probably would never get married again ever. And, but anyway, um, there was a lot of abuse in California. And it wasn't just, um, we were, my kids, how old were my kids? They were probably 2 and 3 years old. And these people had asked us to come over to their house, and I remember sitting on the floor. The husband and the wife were sitting on their couch. My husband was sitting in a chair, and I was on the floor. I guess with my kids, that's kind of where I always ended up. Was, you know, they only had a couple pieces of furniture because all of us were poor. You know, that's how things always were. And so they're watching. He said he was going to have a barbecue or something like that, you know. And so I think he barbecued some things, but he was a hothead. And I think one of the kids was doing something, and I remember him stomping his boot into the kid's head. And I'd kind of forgotten about that too. I forgot that happened. And here my husband is watching this guy do that and get away with it. I mean, this is a grown man who was like, I would say he was about 230 pounds. And he's smashing his boot into a little boy's head. The boy was maybe 4 years old because he was doing something he didn't like. Now, he wasn't the biological dad to the kid. You know, so I think, I think that happened after we moved into military quarters. And so that would have been after I watched the other guy smash his wife's head into the hood of the car. There was a lot of violence, you know, so it wasn't just me. There was a lot of violence. Rachel Spataro. Rachel. Uh-oh, maybe I need to go. Maybe I've been on here too long now, or said too much, or said too many things wrong. That's how it always works, it seems like. I must have said something wrong. I like this picture, though. You know, so I guess the thing where I end up is with domestic violence is when men see that they can get away with it over and over again, and it's affiliated with the military, then it just keeps happening. And there literally was some men. I don't have C-SPAN anymore, but before all this weird stuff happened, you know, before all the stare decisis and all that stuff that they went through, all their crap, you know, doing things different. I wonder if Ketanji Brown Jackson understands now what their stare decisis is that's taking place, because there is a stare decisis of doing some things differently right now that is taking place. I mean, the government running the country as though it's the internet. But these guys, they did go in front of Congress and they said, you know what? We've been getting away with it. We're just going to keep doing it. That's what they said. We're just going to keep doing it. And, the only thing I could say about those guys, I'm hoping that they're ones who want it to stop. That's the thing I was hoping, that they were ones that want it to stop, but they're just being a voice for victims who have been silenced. That's kind of what I was hoping, because like for me, I know I've done that my own self. It's like I've gone on the internet and said some kind of nasty things my own self, and it's like, well, it's like I'm just repeating what was said to me. It was said to me in my marriage. It was said to me by a man. And then I've gotten censored for it too. But it's like, why shouldn't I? Really? Why shouldn't I say it? I've been accused of on the internet of being a man. It's like, no, I'm not a man. But if I talk like one, where do you think I heard it from? Where do you think I got it from? And I'm not supposed to have any feelings. I'm supposed to just put everything away and forget about it. And yeah, over time, sometimes it does go away. But it's like violence breeds violence. And when you let criminals consistently get away with the crimes over and over again, you're just letting them get away with it. You're teaching kids that violence is okay. Oh my gosh, I saw a young man today. These are the ones I care about a lot. The old ones my age are assholes. A lot, some of them are, not all of them, but some of them are assholes, because they're the ones who, they all say the stuff that, women they need to be home barefoot and pregnant. And it's like, for crying out loud, in the nursing home, really? You're an idiot. But there was a young guy, and he understood exactly what I said, and he was voicing the thing of, he said, our government, the way things are being ran, is tearing apart families. And it's like, this young man, I know he had to have come to this conclusion on his own, because I know I've voiced that my own self, but nobody listens to me. And it was good to hear that from him. I was going to listen to the rest of his video. Let me see if I can find where he's at, because I started watching him. I hope I didn't delete him out of here. Where was he at? There was a young man. Oh, here he is right here. Okay. Dad Mode in Dark Mode is the name of his channel. And he says, you can't build a family in a culture that profits from destroying it. So he looks like maybe he's 30, between 30 to 40. I agree with him. Just from what he put on the title, he's got a thing up. It says, please support my fight to be a present father. He's got a GoFundMe. He's got a phone. Oh, dude, why'd you put your phone number up? That might not be a good idea. You're going to get propositions from women, probably, and from smarty pants men who are bored. But I agree with him, because, just from the title, it's like, I know exactly what you're saying. I probably don't need to listen to your video, but a little bit later on, I will go and listen to it. You can't build a family in a culture that profits from destroying it. He's right. His title says it all. His title says absolutely everything. Sometimes I've thought about, like, calling people up just to talk to them to see if they'd talk. But then it's like, then it becomes preaching to the choir. But there's nothing wrong with talking to someone who agrees with what you're saying. We may not agree on all things, but I get what he's saying. He's absolutely right. A culture that profits from destroying it. I love this picture. I totally love this picture. Um, I should have made him older. I should have made him older, closer to my age, instead of so young, but I guess I deserve a young guy, don't I? A guy who is sensible and funny and a little bit crazy and whimsical and um, doesn't feel like they want to be put out to pasture too far yet. Okay, let's do a little bit of a swirly gig in here, like this. Okay. I still like amaze myself when I do some of this stuff, because it's like yeah, but the thing is, like I said, the more you practice, the better you get at it. And that's true, even with drawing. I remember my mother-in-law. She actually took painting lessons. I think at the age of 65. I think was the. I mean, she started doing these Bob Ross type paintings. That was at the time Bob Ross was um, famous back in the PBS days. And so she had said she'd never painted before. And next thing you know, she went and took few lessons from somewhere. Next thing you know, she's coming back to the house with some of the most beautiful paintings. And so she's painting all this stuff up. And then I don't know if she ever sold any of her paintings, but she was trying to do a business and sell some paintings and things like that, and do one of the thrift stores. Yeah, that's what I call it, a thrift store. Kind of an antique thrift store. Now, it's interesting to hear more and more people on, every once in a while I'll see something played on PBS, and they're saying that they had a collection of things that they had saved. And they're like, well, I saved this all these years hoping it would be something that would be valuable. It turns out that it's not. I think most people know that the things that we bought and collected as a younger person, they're not valuable. It was just a gimmick. And if that's one thing I can share with the younger generations, is that collections are meaningless. Collections of antiques are meaningless. And the stuff does not go up in value. You're not going to become rich from saving old, decrepit, dilapidated furniture just because it's made out of wood. It's worthless. So either you just like it for yourself, but it's not an investment. Antiques are not an investment, and they're not going to make you rich. You're not going to, so it's just kind of a gimmick, the collections. Well, even some of the legacy media companies, they would do their movies and things like that. Oh, we've got our latest collection of Disney movies, for crying out loud. They're on DVD, they're on cassette tape, they're on 8-track tape, they're on Blu-ray, and then it was just an excuse to repeat the same movies over and over and over again. And it's like, no, maybe it's an investment for you guys, for Wall Street, but not for the rest of us. We can't even play them anymore. I mean, so I've changed. Actually, I was never one to think of an investment. It's like, I don't like the word investment right now, because of the fact it's like, well, what exactly is the meaning of it? Because if you're going to do things that is for only part of the country, or just for rich people only, that's an investment for them. That isn't for the rest of us. I mean, if you're investing in the rest of us, you would actually bring prices down. so people can live affordably instead of consistently raising them up higher and higher. There's no reason for that to be done, but somebody is doing it, and you're stealing, you're purposely causing economic inflation and monetary harm upon the American public, and that does become a personal injury. I mean, I'm going to argue with a lawyer any day over that. I mean, what is a personal? You can have a personal injury related to monetary harm. You can't. You can have a personal injury related to monetary harm. I'm going to argue with you guys over that every time. I think there's probably at least one lawyer who might go that direction and understand that with me, related to monetary personal injury. I mean, what's a personal injury, right? And that's where they bow out. They stop watching me. They stop watching me because they know I'm right. So, well, we keep hearing about the government's watching us, and so it's like, well, I just as well talk about things that are harmful to all of us, right? If the government is watching us, I should talk about things that are hurting all of us. And it is a personal injury. We're supposed to make the country better, not worse, right? So where are the lawyers for making the country better, not worse? That's what I'd like to know. What happened to those lawyers? What happened to the lawyers of making the country better, not worse? So you think this looks more like a woman and not a man? I was thinking it looked like a man, but I'm getting the idea someone else earlier thought maybe it was a woman. But no, it's a dude. It's kind of a trollish looking little dude here. I think that there's an ear right here. I'm going to put the ear in here. I'm going to see if I can... We're going to kind of color it in like this. A little shadow of an ear. It's kind of pointy. I like this. Now I'm going to have fun with another cartoon. See, I'm kind of glad maybe, I don't know, I like drawing, but I'm thinking if I would have had a bunch of drawings for the past 40 years, that would be a lot of drawings, and I still wouldn't have them. Well, I'm going to have fun with this with photo to video. So, anyway, I think I'm done. Oh my gosh, I like this one. I like everything I've done. Is there anything that I'm going to say eventually that I hate? No, probably not. Because I have said before when there's things I'm not fond of. I do feel like I want to make something crochet, though. I want to make something crochet, and I'm not quite sure what I should make. If I should just keep doing off of the long videos I have, but I kind of want to do a crochet live stream of something. I don't know I don't know what I want to make. I want it to be simple. Maybe another star, but I'm not sure. Or some pattern that, sometimes I have some things in mind and then I kind of forget what I was going to do. I like that though. It could be a male or a female. This is one of these gender neutral type kind of images, but it is a troll. It absolutely is a troll image. And so a troll, it does look scary. So anyway, that's it for right now. If you have any thoughts or suggestions in the future, let me know. Interesting, the name Rachel Spataro. I like the name Rachel. Rachel is biblical. Which that explains why some of the names are really popular. And Ruth. Ruth was a popular name out of the Bible, too. Do you like her?